people. I got a great show today. I have Dr. Bill Hennessy of the ARC Group. He educated us in an earlier episode about the fallacies of hospital bills and expenses. And he's back, and we're going to talk about a very specific case after the Bill's general introduction of what he does and why. And we have here Reasa, who is the nice, angry mom who was on our show about her son's medical crisis, where Methodist Hospital neglected to do their job, and her son nearly passed away. Luckily, he was extracted from that circumstance and survived, and is doing well now. But Dr. Bill, tell us what you do and the value. Give us an idea what the value proposition is and why you do it.
Well, I think we all deserve affordable access to care. We all deserve to know the price of care before we receive our care. We should not receive surprise medical bills and predatory billing after we receive our care. That's exactly what has occurred in this case today that we're about to discuss it, but it occurs all across America every day. So I am an MD. I've owned a physician billing company. I've founded a price transparency company, and I participated with the ARC Group to create a comprehensive solution to save people money either before care or after care. Before care, we can tell you where to go and what to pay. After care, if you don't like your hospital bill, you just let us give them a taste of their own medicine, and we're going to shrink that number significantly.
And could you talk to, just alert me and the audience to what exactly the bill is that you're talking about? Because people generally don't see their bill. They don't know to ask for their bill. So they get an insurance EOB, explanation of benefits, and that's the end of it. And it says, you owe $2,000 or you owe $20,000, and then the fun begins. So tell me the difference there.
What I'm saying is very important to all of you, because it's not if, it's when you get a hospital bill. And 0 of 5,700 hospitals in the United States provide you with an itemized bill after you get care. None of them do. Get this, you have to ask for one. That's poor customer service. It's very poor customer. I think it should be illegal, but it's poor customer. So you have to ask for an itemized bill with the billing codes and the names of every care item they want paid spelled out. And until you get it, you're not going to give them $1 toward their bill. And you say, well, I'm kind of afraid and confused. I don't want to do that. Well, here's the fact. Under federal privacy law, known as HIPAA, since the 1990s, Health Insurance Portability Accountability Act, your itemized bill is your personal property. The hospital must give it to you, and at no charge, because it's yours. So I like to get the original billing form. If it's from a hospital, it's called a UB-04, Uniform Billing. And if it's from any other provider, it's called a HCFA 1500, Healthcare Finance Administration 1500 form. Those are the two key forms.
All right, send me an email or a text so I know exactly what those forms are. And then one other question in regards, and I'm sorry I interrupted you, but the institution will probably say, hey, we just sent that to your insurance company. You don't really need it. So,
well, if you don't get the original bill, what happens is that's where the billing shenanigans occur. So they don't want you to see the original bill. They want to send you what they want to send you. And so when they're using, even as an MD, the words or abbreviations are unacceptable to me. I can't understand them. And so they're doing that on purpose to hide the cost of care. And you did touch on something else, the EOB. There's yet another acronym to confuse people. It's explanation of benefits. Now, who most commonly provides those in the US of A? The answer is Blue Shield, United, Cigna, and Aetna. Those are known as health insurance companies. So if you go to a hospital and you don't understand your hospital bill, you should. They should give you a good one that you can understand. They don't. Then the insurance company you're paying a lot of money, $30,000 on average for a family of four with a $6,000 deductible. They're supposed to go ahead and explain every care item, except in today's world, I call them anti-EOBs, because they also purposefully don't show the billing codes and the names of the care items. So you have no idea what you're paying for when you look at what is been called an explanation of benefits. So the best thing to do is go back to the hospital or other medical provider. The real bill from the provider is where the rubber hits the road, and that's what we want to see before we take action.
Yes. Are the insurance companies in collusion with the provider, the hospital?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Can we get to Reasa's particular case and show us how what you do works, why it works, and let's see what the...
Absolutely. So to this day, Reasa's unfortunately had to hire an attorney just to protect some of her rights because of the hospital obstruction at Methodist. And so now she shared with me some of her bills, and I said, you don't have the UB-04 form here, the original one. Now, she's educated herself incredibly well. She actually knew what I was talking about. I said, you don't have it. How do I ask for it? I gave her the standard form on how to ask for it. But with what she has, I can already point out that she doesn't have to be a doctor. She's smart. An itemized bill now shows a blood test. Originally, it would just say lab. Now it says comprehensive metabolic panel. That means sodium, potassium, kidney function. $729 is charged at Methodist. Well, Blue Shield, United, Cigna, Aetna typically pay $30. Medicare pays $12. They charge for a chest x-ray, just one view, $540 when it's paid on average $154. But you can't understand this unless you see the names of the care items and what they charged. My company has excellent pricing databases that nobody else has access to. That's part of our secret sauce, is so that we can negotiate the bills.
Wow. I think this is fascinating. Reasa, what could you add to this? Have you applied now for the original, you call it the original hospital bill,
a UB4.
Right.
Yeah, so we have asked for that under our HIPAA rights. We've also asked for the audit logs and things like that. Methodist, unfortunately, is giving us nothing. And we've reported them to HHS for violating those.
Right. So, wow, why would the hospital be incentivized to keep digging, in my opinion, a deeper hole when...
Well, this is follow the money, Alan. This is a simple one. Her family owes no money through Methodist. This is called shoving it under the rug. Okay, she's fighting back. She sees evidence of fraud. I see evidence of fraud and upcharging, financial extortion by charging a multiple of what the care is worth just because his life was on the line. You're not allowed to do that. And so, they just said, well, you don't owe us anything.
Wow.
But that's not the point here. The point is care was received and she's entitled to see her son's bill.
Right. So you see you see this as a separate matter relative to the legal battle that's going on here, correct?
Yeah. There's the potential here, obviously, for medical malpractice. I'm aware of the clinical circumstances in this case. Also, I've reviewed the medical records. That's one track of legal action. The other track is who pays these medical bills? What are they really worth? And then how many more medical bills and much care is he going to need in the future? And who pays for that?
Right. So correct me if I misstate this or misunderstand it, that there was some medical neglect here, which seems to me to be pretty obvious based on the details and the story and the timelines, and I think it's indisputable. And then there's this other side, which is really just comes up as ancillary to this neglect, this negligence, and that's the fraud of the billing. I mean, that's a secondary issue. It wasn't the primary reason for Reasa's family and her family to take action against the institution.
Well, if you look at Reese's situation, I can put myself in her shoes. She's thinking, well, in her life, she pays for her mistakes, but she's not going to pay for someone else's, in this case, the hospital's mistake. So she took her son to the ER a couple of years ago on December 13th. He's diagnosed with the flu and being dehydrated, got IV fluids. He went back on December 23rd, 10 days later. Well, that flu didn't last that long. No flus last 10 days. And there were extra things going on, like an abnormal EKG and a heart rate over 130 beats a minute. And they just said, well, we're sending you home. Wait a second. It's not the flu. You have no test that proves a new diagnosis. You just presumed it was a virus, but multiple indicators say it wasn't. You gave them a high-level ER bill severity. So the billing says, we're going to take a lot of money from you and call it severe, but it really wasn't severe. We're going to send you home. You have so much conflicting information. Then he almost died. 4 out of 5 people diagnosed with sepsis die. He's the blessed, fortunate 20% who he lived. That doesn't mean he's back to normal health. It means he lived. And now the question is if she took him not only once, but twice, crying out for help, and there's abnormal lab values and exam findings, and the writing's on the wall, and nothing's been done, is she really supposed to be on the hook for her son's excess of $500,000 bills? If I'm her, I'd say no.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, because then, of course, if you have insurance, the insurance company is now involved in that part of the equation. So again, we have negligence and we have overbilling, extortion, fraud, whatever you want to call it, or whatever it actually is in a legal sense. But it's still it's helpful for people to understand that there are levels of billing, not just basic billing knowledge, that should cause people to pause, ask questions, and get the formal documentation so that they can maintain it in their records, so that they can have it analyzed, so they can protect their pocketbook, so that they can negotiate with their insurers or whatever. I mean, it seems to me that it's so totally pervasive in our society, and it's so corrupt. And again, it's hard for individuals to battle institutional corruption. I mean, people don't even vote nowadays. So, I mean, to me, this is really a critical mass kind of problem and question all at the same time, because healthcare costs is one of the probably the single largest problem in the United States as a first world nation.
I agree with you. It's $5 trillion secretly priced.
Yeah.
And that's wrong.
And it's held by a few. It's not even that it's greatly dispersed. It's held by a few. So, I'll be happy
to provide you each of the 2 standard billing forms you can put on your website. I'd be happy to provide you a copy of the how to request an itemized bill. All you have to do is copy and paste it. You don't even have to understand the words. Copy, paste it, and send it into the billing department or medical records department. And don't dare ever pay $1 toward your bill until you get your itemized bill where everything is spelled out.
I agree.
One by one, we will create price transparency here in America.
I agree. And I also want you to send me whatever information you could, because I think you made a good point. There's obviously that aftercare receiving the bill and seeing it in arrears of the services, and pre. And I think that really one of the primary values, other than pointing out the fraud, is to say, let's try to avoid the fraud. What can I do as an overburdened, overtaxed, only the rich are undertaxed, but overtaxed human, working in America to save my own skin and my own dollars?
Well, this is an emergency case. It's an unfortunate one that no one wants to be in. It is why we're supposed to have quality health insurance. But I will tell you, of working age, 99 out of 100 people only need care. They don't use their insurance. What's that most common care? It will be a doctor visit. A new one is $175. A follow-up visit's $125 on average. It's a mammogram for women. That's an average of $250 for a good price for a digital 3D screening mammogram. You can get a PSA level for a guy, check your prostate cancer. That's about $50. A GI screening scope should be about $2,300 all in. I'm just giving you the real prices right now.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But that's all you get. That's not even insurance. So 99 out of 100 of us should be securing these prices I gave or similar before you get care.
Right. And
you shouldn't be saying we agree to being secretly bamboozled and financially extorted with hidden pricing.
Well, Bill, we had this conversation, I recall, a while back, right? Where, insurance companies don't want to create a high deductible product because that means low premium, and it doesn't fit their financial model. But that's actually a more practical kind of model where I'm buying insurance only for the 25 or 50,000 and up claims because I don't have the resources to self-insure. But for all these little things, like even a broken arm or a colonoscopy, yeah, I could fund that. And I could even make a deal with the doctor to say, I'll pay you half this month and half next month, and they would take it. But the truth is that, full-blown insurance from $1 with $4,000, $5,000, $20,000, $15,000 deductibles is not practical at all.
It's not. They want the prices to be hidden because if we, my company or another one, exposed every price tag for Blue Shield, United Cigna, guess what? We don't need their networks.
Yeah,
we don't need them. They go bye-bye.
And their premium's good.
And I will say they do want a high deductible. Here's why. So if a family of four is paying $2,500 a month or $30,000 a year, we know that over 80% are never going to meet their deductible. So if your last name is Blue Shield, United Cigna, you're saying, you know what? That isn't $30,000 a year revenue for them. That is $30,000 a year profit. That's 100% profit. So they like it, because now you still have to go pay for all of your care. And that means we should be asking the price tag when it's routine care.
Right. But that's the whole reason. If it was only a system where they would have a real catastrophic policy, the premiums would be exceedingly low and they wouldn't make any money and they wouldn't be able to have access to your bank account all day long.
You are so correct. And all I can tell you is with what you just said, you'll want to have me back on in the first quarter of next year.
Yeah, I would love to have you back on. I want to have Reasa back on because she's going to get this information and then we're going to have a heyday and I'm buying lunch for all of us. And
that's fine by me.
Thank you. Thanks for coming back on. Reasa, please let us know the second you get those original bills. And I'm fascinated with everything you do, Dr. Bill, and I want to advocate for your services and and you philosophically where you are on this. So anything I could do to help.
We appreciate that. I'm fond of saying I like to deal with people that have the two C's. I'm looking for business partners, care providers that have the two C's, care and common sense. And that's exactly what Reasa is looking for to facilitate an outcome in this time, not only for her son, but so it never happens to anybody else again too. So I respect her efforts.
I agree, and that's what we have to advocate for. We got to kind of right this corrupted ship.
Yeah, one, we appreciate you so much for looking over all the records and things. This would bankrupt most people. You saw a lot of the bills that we had and what came through, and it's not okay. And we're still fighting with cooks on a lot of things. And then as far as Methodist, obviously, I think we talked about the fact that there's no longer a bill to be found for us there, but we have the originals. We have where they sent us to collections while we were still in the hospital.
Wow.
So that's also, in my opinion, illegal to send someone to collections without providing them an original and complete copy of an itemized bill. You have to get a bill before you can pay a bill.
Yeah.
And when it's a big number, it
Well, yeah, you also have the right
itemized.
to dispute the services. So I think that this is really an important matter, because that's an advocacy that has to be brought to federal attention. You shouldn't have to leave a hospital or even ask. That should be attached to your release forms, your discharge papers, and that's something that Washington could easily mandate.
I 100% agree with you. In fact, I wrote about a 4-paragraph such piece of legislation. I called it the Healthcare Consumer Protection Act. That means that we all deserve to get an itemized bill with the name of every care item spelled out, the billing code, what they charge per care item, and we have the right to review it for a full 30 days before they could even consider sending us to collections. But this is where the government should govern, and we should get a copy of our bill ahead of time. I say by not doing so, it's a violation of the Federal Trade Commission Section 5, having participated in an unfair and deceptive act of commerce where omission of the pricing is of material consequence.
Please send me your healthcare Consumer Protection Act. I'd love to read it and send it on to parties across the nation that do have some kind of influential platform, because it's something that needs to be talked about, and everything they're doing in Washington these days seems to be, just not really in touch with what has to be done. I'll put it that way.
Will do. This
Okay.
should be a common sense. We all need health care.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill.
Republicans and Democrats. So let's all have access.
Thank you, and have a Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy New Year.
Hey, Merry Christmas to both of you too. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.